Hey everybody, it's Derek Christensen, the founder of Legion Law, coming at you today with the question of what is a trust. But before we get into that, I just wanted to remind you guys that if you want to contact me or reach out to my firm for any kind of legal services for estate planning and probate issues, find us at www.legionlawpllc.com or email me directly at Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at legionlawpllc.com. So, without further ado, let's just dive right into it. What is a trust? Now, a trust is something that's very commonly talked about but not understood in the estate planning field. A trust is a form of estate planning that permits one person to give their assets to another person, and that other person is going to be in charge of distributing those assets in a certain manner. They take care of those assets. So that's what a trust is, and another way to understand it is a trust is a legal entity similar to a company that can hold assets and has specific rules on how those assets are divided up among the beneficiaries. That's it. I can stop there, but of course I'm not going to because there are multiple different ways to approach it. A trust is pretty unique in the fact that it's a custom-made document. A trust is not required to have much specifically other than signatures and a couple of other things. A trust can say whatever you want. I've had clients who wanted to have the great-grandchildren get things if the grandchildren don't get a certain thing. I've had just simple, basic bread and butter. Once I pass away, my wife gets everything. Once she passes away, the kids get everything. And everything in between. So you can customize it and have whatever you want happen to your assets. In addition to that, you can include rules for your trustee, the person who will be distributing those assets. There will be rules in there about who or what they can do. I've had clients who wanted to restrict what kind of bank accounts they use, what kind of information they provide to other people, stuff like that. So it's quite a unique document in the fact that you can customize it to however you want and to have very, very interesting and very catered styles for everybody's needs. In addition to that, there are different types of trusts, but the most common one is called a revocable living trust. And I don't want to get too far in the weeds because that's a whole topic in and of itself, but a revocable living trust essentially is a trust that puts the person who's giving the assets, the settlor, he's going to be the trustee as well. So you create the trust, you put your assets in the trust, and then you put yourself in charge of the trust. Now I know that sounds kind of strange, why would you do that? But there are actually some benefits to doing that because once you pass away, all the assets that are inside the trust don't need to go through probate. And probate is a court-required system where you have to go before a judge and get approved and take 6 to 18 months, spend thousands of dollars just to get your will approved. And probate has to happen for wills, but probate does not have to happen for trusts. So all the assets that are inside a trust are protected from probate. So that's very nice. So having a revocable living trust helps you avoid probate, and by doing that, you're able to avoid all the headaches that come with that. So once you're in charge of your own trust, the revocable living trust, you still live exactly the normal way. You still drive your car to work, you still, sell your house, you can buy stocks, all that stuff. Your life's exactly the same, but on paper, it's changed, the title, and that's it. And once you do that, and you pass away, you avoid probate, and you put another person in charge, the next trustee. And the next trustee, the successor trustee, if you will, that person is going to have a specific set of rules on whatever happens. Whenever you're in charge, you do whatever you want. You can spend everything, you could sell everything, you can not do anything with it. You can do whatever you want, and you're completely in charge. But as soon as you pass away, it triggers, and the next person has to follow the very specific set of rules that you set for them. So again, the customization part of a trust is pretty dang cool in my opinion. And once you have that person in charge and they're taking care of your assets the way that you wanted to have happen, then once everything is done, the trust is closed and your assets are distributed. So that's a revocable living trust, and there are other types of trusts out there, but that's kind of more for a different time, different discussion. But a very, very common estate planning tool is called a revocable living trust, and it's used very frequently. But the important part is that it must be funded. In other words, you must retransfer the title of everything into the trust's name. And by doing that, the trust now owns the asset and avoids probate. But if you don't do it and you create a trust and then you don't retitle everything, the trust is worthless. It's worth the paper that it's on. That's it. It's just a nice piece of paper. So you need to work with a professional, an attorney, who can help you transfer your assets, such as your house, your cars, your bank accounts, everything, transfer it all into your trust. And then once you do that, you're set. Well, you're set at least in this moment, and then you want to make sure you update it every now and then and keep up to date. So as a shameless plug, I help people transfer their assets into the trusts, and also I help them by reminding them annually with a free review and by professionally nagging you to make sure that the funding actually happens. So that's a little bit about a trust. It's a little bit all over the place, but it's a very, very complex or simple tool, however you want it to be, and it can be customized. It's very, very effective at avoiding probate, and it is an effective estate planning tool. So if you have any kind of questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to me again at legionlawpllc.com or Derek at legionlawpllc.com. So thanks, and we'll see you guys on the next video.